Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Air Hauler with me, Herd 37. So back into the 787 we go. It'll be our second flight. Remember, we flew up from Fort Myers over to Bozeman, Montana. Kind of a crappy landing. I was watching the replay and we just kind of stalled out. Like, we were coming down nice, and then as I started to flare, well, they're kind of pitched up. That was bad. But we kind of just stalled out at the very end and just kind of fell to the ground kind of hard. So I saw why that was a bad landing. And but in this episode, we're going to fly over to Palm Springs, KPSP. That is another one of our bases, I do believe. Better make sure. If it's not, it's going to be. It actually may not be Palm Springs. Maybe I was thinking of something else. Yeah, it's not in there, but it needs to be one of our bases. So we'll create a base there when we get there. No, actually, I'll wait and do it on the next episode because this is probably going to be my last flight in Air Hauler this week because I got to go back to work. But then when we're ready to do it the next time, because they'll create a bunch of jobs, and then I'll have some people go over and be ready, and we'll take some of them as well. That's the plan. All right, so Palm Springs, it's 758 miles. Sit and starts about 832 or so. 47,456 pounds worth of radios. That's pretty good because the cargo capacity is like 66. The last one was a little heavy, although we didn't have to take a whole lot of fuel. 189,000 bucks. By the way, look at this plane. Look at the range. See, there's cargo capacity 66,000. Let's see, where is the range? Look at it, 7,635 miles. And that's about what I found on the internet. I mean, you look at that. The 747 can only go 4,600. That's got 3,000 more miles than the freaking 747. Good Lord! And what is that? 2,700 miles further than the 777, which is amazing. I better check that because that just seems insane. But I'm pretty sure that's what everyone was saying. That's just crazy to me. That is so far. Anyhow, let's go over here to the jobs. I'll fly this ourselves, obviously. 787. Got it loaded up. Already got the fuel. Actually, I need to go back before we click this. Make sure I get the dispatcher to get the correct fuel, but it's got to put 1,000 miles worth, so we got about 160 miles extra fuel just in case something happens. Like in Bozeman, we had to go around, so I'll click out of this, but we'll start it here in just a minute, and we'll go ahead and move on over at the plane. All right, everybody, here we are in the plane. I'm just now starting up the engines. It didn't come started up, so I went ahead and started it myself. It's really easy just clicking the switches to start, quite honestly. She basically does it all herself. So, after external power, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the external power. There's a message. I couldn't tell if it said that there wasn't enough power to start the engines on the ground. If maybe you have to use the APU, but I didn't have to. I didn't get to see exactly what all it said. So the beacon and nav are on. So we'll go down here. As you can see, the weather is it's not good. It's actually worse than it was yesterday in the last flight. Alright, so let's go ahead and we'll get her started here. We're at Bozeman, KBZN. Not at a gate anyway. And then we'll go KBZN. To Palm Springs, KPSP. I can't believe I thought that was one of our bases, and it's not. And it needs to be. By the way, for scenery, I almost forgot about that. We got Central Rocky Mountains like yesterday with Bozeman as well. And then we have Southern California and KPSP from Orbx as well. So it's all kinds of Orbx in this one. It's weird, you can click that and it actually makes it sound weird. Alright, perfect. Fuel should be about 29.8. That's right. It's actually 29.5. We'll leave it there though. And it actually says we need more fuel to go this far, but we'll see about that. 3 for the reserves. Cruising altitude, we're going to the south. Let's say 36,000 again. Picked that a lot. Cost index will say 85. Let's go over here. We'll execute first. Departures and arrivals. We're going to depart on runway 12. I can't remember which is. I almost forgot there is actually another runway. We must be using left. Can't even see that over there. 11 left. Well, let's see if there's. Or 11 right. That's weird because there should be one. Actually, no, it's 12. That's why. That's why. 12. And the SID is Tier X3. Transition DBS. I hadn't looked far down off on the page on those runways. And we're going to land on, I believe it's 31 left. Heading 311. And we're going to use Cloud 1, transition at GVS. So let's execute that. Let's check this out real quick. Remember we screwed up yesterday, something got messed up. Move that up. There's the runway, everything looks good there. Oops, oops. Actually, I think that was right. I don't know how it has a V2 speed already. So it needs to be at 5. Go ahead and move this up. Otherwise, just using the joystick to trim it. There we go at 5. Alright, so V2 speed is 143. I'll move that down. There we go, 143. And let's check out. That should be it for that. It'll be a normal takeoff, not derated. Approach. So about 140. Now let's actually step through this. I forgot we actually were able to do it. Here we go. Switch that over to plan. And actually I should move the range down a little bit. That'll have to do. So let's step through this here. See, that all looks fine. That didn't make sense at all. There was GFS, that's the transition area. And TRM, and then over to the runway. We needed to step through that. That was... see, I had to put a user waypoint in there. And that looks really messed up. See, that's not right. MILF and then fix. What if I move that up? And then that comes straight down. That was odd how that went like that. It shouldn't have been like that. Alright, so now we've got her looking alright. Good thing we looked through that, because we don't always do that. And KPSP 10.6. That's what it's expecting. We don't know that that's right. Usually it's not right in QualityWings. They don't do the greatest job of that. Taxi light is on. Parking brake is off. Give her some thrust here and set the altitude to 36,000. Let me move that over. I believe runway 12's heading is 120. No, it's 123, isn't it? 123. We'll have to try and squeeze in here. Try not to, yep. Sorry, buddy. Hope you didn't like that plane too much. We'll squeeze right by it. Obviously, we're a little big for this airport. Actually, we're not really too big for the airport. It's just nobody wouldn't normally park there. Don't get going too fast. Let's get the flight directors on. That visibility is a little bit better there. Yellowstone Jet Center. Actually, it's like, is it when I look? No. See, it's like there are some bigger jets. United and Delta are over there. It's just being a cargo plane, we wouldn't normally park over there with everybody else. But I mean, the airport can handle some big stuff. It's a cool looking Dash 8. Alright, brakes and RTO. Put the flaps out to 5. Hopefully that's enough. Like I said, this runway isn't the longest. It's the longest runway here, obviously, but it's not a real long runway. And I'll have to see if 5 is the normal setting or not. It's like all the other planes, you know, we usually use more than 5, even the 777, 747, whatever. 5 degrees of flaps just doesn't seem like much help. I mean, obviously it is, but normally in other planes we use more flaps than that. I'm just worried about 143 is the V2. I can't remember the rotate speed off the top of my head. But we got to get her going pretty quick for that. Alright, I think that's the end. In sight right there, I do believe. We'll see, it might go a little longer. Oh, no, that must be it. Tell them to sit their butts down. My range down. See, I don't like how it's like take off, then cut over to the right real quick. And we'll turn over. It's actually a pretty daggone good turn. Alright, here we are for runway 12. Brakes are in RTO. TCAS is on. Arm the auto throttles. Arm LNAV and VNAV. There's nothing on the TCAS showing any traffic. We look clear there. Landing lights are all on. Strobes are on. Flaps are set. Don't worry about the TCAS intercept. It'll go off here in a second, actually. So, since it's a shorter runway, I think I'm going to get on the throttles and hold the brakes for a second. And then let go. I'm not going to follow that line. I want every inch that I can get here. Went a little fast there on the turn. Got her getting a little too slow there. Alright, Holding the brakes, bringing up the power. Off we go. Toga.
Check thrust. Thrust set. 80 knots. Checked.
Should be good.
B1. Rotate. B2.
Yeah, we had some runway left. A lot of runway, actually.
Positive rate. Gear up.
Gears coming up.
Traffic.
Autopilot.
Autopilot on.
She's getting me a little confused there, too, on here. That kind of freaked me out a bit. Get this off here. I just looked at the boxes and all of a sudden I got really confused about how I was going to get over there. So autopilot it. Better than me screwing it up. We should have already done this, by the way, but
Flaps 1.
flaps going to 1. See if we actually fly that. It's not really looking at it like it does it. See, now flaps 1, but they never tell you flaps up. And there is no marker on here for it. By the way, I would look at the scenery, but the clouds are so bad you can just see the mountains. We'll go outside. Well, let me retract the flaps. Now we'll go outside real quick.
With our flight underway, I'd like to once again welcome you aboard. I'd also like to offer a special welcome to our quality.
I mean, look at that.
You'll be earning valuable miles on your flight.
Horrible weather.
If you're not a member, please visit us at QualityWings.com.
Just look at the mountains.
We'll be beginning our complimentary meal and beverage service for first class approach.
9,500 feet. I'm going to go ahead and
After takeoff checklist.
taxi light is off.
We apologize if we do not accept cash. In-flight entertainment available on this aircraft includes audio.
And there's 10,000. Lights come off.
All included free of charge. The flight attendant will be coming through the aisles with complimentary waste. Now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
Takes forever to spin that thing around, my goodness. There we go, 268. Let's look down here real quick. Progress. Now it's down to 8.6, which is probably good. Get there at 21:21, that will of course move, so a little less than 2 hours. Probably be closer to 2 hours, because like I say, it's not really correct. See this. And I do have transition DBS. We'll see if that's going to switch out. See, it's kind of going over here, isn't it? But it does then bank out to the left towards Porky, so it might actually work on this one. Some crazy views of the mountains. Yeah, she's actually tracking it now. And then, like I said, the left to Porky, and out to DBS. So I like that it's finally working on this one. I don't know why it didn't want to work coming out of Fort Myers. I wonder if it has something to do with using third-party airports. Although this is a third-party airport. Come up on 16,000. Well, everything looks good so far. Hopefully it all continues. I'm going to go ahead and speed her on up. I will be back in just a little bit.
securely fastened. To prepare for landing, it will be necessary to collect all service items, as well as any other items you wish to discard, such as newspapers.
Descent checklist.
Alright, everybody, slowing it down to normal speed here. As you can see, a couple right turns there to head towards the runway. I think I might have screwed the altitude up because the daggone page was moving when I hadn't noticed it. I'm not sure. I do think that might actually be the correct altitude, though, but I was trying to set the speed. It was just very annoying. Let's see, 309 to 200, that might be doable. 155, 136, that is our landing speed, 136. So the approach speed will be 141. This is 202. Line her up. No ILS here. By the way, I think you have to come in on this runway. If you come from this side, I think there are mountains on the other side. You might be able to get a small plane in there, but this plane, I'm not sure. I mean, you could do it. You could come straight in. You'd have to make a turn to the left. But other than that, I think you almost have to come in this way. Alright, we're at 302 and about to go to 10,000 feet. We need to get this thing down. It did say that it needed help. See us there on the descent path. I'm gonna go ahead and flip on the landing lights. I'll turn on the taxi light as well. We're gonna have plenty of fuel. You can look down here real quick. We had 3 reserves. It's got 11.2 there, so not burning a whole lot of fuel. And arm the speed breaker again. Auto brake set to 3. It's not a really long runway, so I'm using 3 again. I'm not sure if that's too much or what. It's a little hazy out here, not the greatest of visibility. This is Southern California's scenery. 30 frames a second. See, it's asking for help again. It's actually, the speed is actually creeping up. Yeah, this thing's been really slick. We were having a little bit of a problem with that on our landing at Bozeman. Not the most responsive plane, that's for sure, when it comes to that. Let's go ahead and move our range down. I'm not sure what speed it actually wants to be. Let's see, what is it set at? 211 miles. Okay, so it is what it was. I'm gonna set up. I'm gonna go ahead and put flaps to 1. So you can see there are mountains around here. Everything looks pretty good. Look like we're right on the glide slope, or descent slope, I guess. Descent path. I wish it wasn't so hazy. We could see the scenery a little better. It is very nice scenery. I think is it Southern California, but KPSP I'm pretty sure has some of the surrounding scenery as well. In fact, this might be most of what we're seeing actually. KPSP. Look at that. I guess it's going up a little bit. Now see, it's talking about. Now see, it is gonna just drop down. Yeah, this thing's really slippery, hard to slow down. Alright, back to armed. Hopefully that helps. Getting ready to cut over towards the edge of the mountains and then over to the runway. I've got it set to go to 2,900 feet. Now see how the daggone plane just cannot keep its speed down. And I don't know why it's bringing up the thrust when the speed needs to obviously come down. That's kind of pissing me off a little bit. You got to design your plane better than that. If you're having trouble slowing down, you can't have the daggone plane. Hey, look at that. 55%, and now it wants to bring it down. It's like, come on, man. It's ridiculous. So I can't get the flaps to 5 yet. Because we're sitting here at 212 knots. Yeah, and it's warning me it needs help, but for the love of God. Flaps going to 5. Hopefully we're not near the damage speed. That's really annoying, though.
In preparation for landing, please return all seat backs and tray tables to their upright and stowed position. Ensure all portable electronic devices are turned off, and stow all carry-on items. Additionally, footrests and video monitors must be returned to their original position. Thank you.
It's not showing the star. I think you might have to go through it and it'll actually show it to you, but I don't know that we have time to do all that. Speed brake is off and spoiler's armed. It is going back down. I'm just going to watch it, make sure it doesn't go back up. 141 is our landing speed. So we're only 23 above it now. Just cutting right over these mountains, man. Cut it close. I don't want to be landing here too much at night with crappy visibility. Especially with crappy visibility. About 5 miles from the turn. Let me see if I get a gear warning if I put them down to 15 without the gear down. So we're about 5 miles from the turn. You see, we are pitching up a little bit. Just might have had the speed a little low. .312, I believe it is. 311. Gears coming down. Looking good here.
Please be seated for arrival.
I'll allow it down to 2,500. Yeah, because we're going to have to get pretty close to be able to even see the runway. Man, it's just been really bad visibility out in the west. I gotta say, it's bad. Technically, in real life, it's noon out there, and that just looks horrible. Flaps going to 17. I just hope this doesn't go all the way to the ground. 2,200. Look at the speed jumping back up. 136,141. Oh, there we go. We are landing on the left runway, 31 left. Auto throttle's off. Looks like we're lined up for the right one a little better than the left here. Although we have that mountain over here. Autopilot is off, the plane is mine.
Landing check.
I know it's pitching up. I gotta get my hand on the throttles here. Let's come over to the left here and get down. Alright, our speed is 141. Let's get her down here. I believe there is a long threshold as well. I'll tell you, this plane just does not like to get down. Just like it doesn't like to stop, it doesn't like to get down. You gotta really push the nose down.
1,000.
Bring them back to power. Or I should say back in, I mean. I was obviously off the power trying to get her down. Really struggling trying to figure out the power and the pitch with this plane. So there's our approach speed, 141.
300. Approaching minimums. Minimums. 200.
Now I just cannot get down, my God. I've got it pitched all the way that it'll go.
50, 40, 30, 20,
That cannot be correct, by the way, on the GPWS. Look at this plane just will not slow down. 125, 124. It says okay. We landed halfway down the runway, I think. And I'm hard on the brakes, and she just doesn't want to slow down.
Taxi for the next few minutes, so please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns off the fasten.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem correct.
At that time, please remember to check around your seating area, in the seat pockets, and overhead bins for all personal belongings that you brought on board. Please take care when opening your
Alright.
bins, as the contents may have shifted during flight.
Stop parade here. Yeah, it just does not seem... I was pitched all the way down, and I still just could not get her down. And even when we were slowing... landing lights off, by the way. Strobes off. Let's get set up here. Stop recording. Back on the brakes here. Flight director's off. Disarm the auto brakes. TCAS can come off as well. It still says auto throttle disconnected. It just doesn't seem like it flies right on approach. Because I just could not, for the life of me, get it down. Putting the flaps up. In the ground proximity warning system, callouts don't seem to be right. We seem way higher than what it's calling out. Just very peculiar, this plane. I mean, maybe we can get better at it as we try, but it just seems like there's some weird things about it that almost aren't working correctly. But I've heard reports that other people are saying it's extremely buggy. I'll have to look exactly what they're saying about it. There has already been, I think, one service pack or something that I had to install, but man, oh day. The landing speed doesn't seem right, because, like I say, it seems like we were just floating all the way down to the runway. The landing speed is 136, and we got down to 125 before we ever touched the ground. I can't imagine, you know, I'm sitting there trying to flare, and it just didn't seem like it wanted to come down, like we were still too fast. So odd. So I guess we'll park over at the terminal. I don't know that there's a cargo area here. It's not really a cargo airport. There's a little bit of general aviation to the right, but I think most of the general aviation and jets and everything are over to the left part of the airport. There's a cool area where they're doing like fire training. That's always pretty cool. You see it, you can actually hear the flames and stuff. Seeing the firefighters like training to put out the flames is pretty cool. I believe that's Allegiant Air over there. I believe Alaska Airlines is here as well, if I remember correctly. Or was that the one I was flying in here? I was doing a landing video. No, I was doing a FSX flight here. Ended up canceling out of. I don't think there's room for us right there. There may not be room for us anywhere, actually. Think about it. 787 is pretty big. I mean, it's not... I don't even think it's a 777, though, but, I mean, we are pretty daggone big. You see our wings are extremely long. I'm not sure where we can squeeze in at. That second one right there. Might be the only one. Frontier Airlines. Doesn't everyone hate Frontier and Allegiant? It seems like. But they're both here. And we're just idling, by the way, all the way up to 15 knots. It's just like this plane, even on the ground, doesn't want to slow down. There's got to be some problem with the speeds. There's something here. We'll go to that one right there. Oh, she wants us to angle it. I thought we could go straight in. We can't. I wonder if he actually directs you correctly. I know I'm still not lined up. Really can't hardly tell him all that great. I almost feel like he's just moving like normal. Like that's what he's supposed to do. I can't see it, bro. I'll just stop it here. I don't think that's totally... I don't think he was totally waving us in because we went far. Alright, so there we go. APU is on, so we should be able to go ahead and shut off the fuel. Taxi lights off, nav you go off. Beacon can go off now. Alright, let's go over to air hauler. At least we didn't do any damage this time. And we're lucky we came down soft because, like I say, we were really slow. We almost had to, like, drop down. Alright, job completed. Stop the flight monitoring. Come on, air hauler. There we go. Alright, so 787 is clear. Let's look at the finances here. I've been trying to get some other jobs going. I've got 989.48 because you get credit when you help someone else. When you help someone else, when you load it and tell them to fly it and then you unload it, you actually get credit on the reputation. That's why it's gone up a little bit more. But we're making money. Not too bad. We're up to 296 million. Good to see that's going up. Used aircraft, lease and buy. New aircraft. Cargo capacity, about 66,000. I'm not sure exactly how much these cost. 787. 117 million. So we could actually buy a couple. I'm not planning on it right now. We would need crew and stuff. I'm not sure. We've got some people there. Of course, I've got tons of pilots that can fly it now. But, yeah, Palm Springs on the next flight, I don't know what we're going to do because, like I say, I thought Palm Springs was one of our bases. It's so close to Los Angeles, I would almost like to fly, just like take LAX down. Just use KPSP. LAX, I have scenery for it now. Man, it's so hard to run. But I'll check that out. Maybe we can get it to run now. I don't know, a little bit better. But, KPSP needs to be a base. I love that airport. And to fly in there and stuff more and out of it would be pretty fun. So, before the next episode, I'll make that a base. But, anyhow, that's going to be it for this episode, everybody. I hope you all did enjoy it. I'll catch you guys on the next flight.
500, 400, 300, approaching minimums, 200, 100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10,